This is how I would improve Django Unchained personally. Just remove all uses of the N-words and you have a decent movie.
Django, have you always been alone? Django, have you never loved again?
Django Unchained, directed by Quentin Tarantino and is Tarantino's 2012 western. So, Django Unchained tells the story taking place in the 1850s, before the Civil War of Django, who was once a slave to Dr. Schmaltz, who's a bounty hunter and who sets out to capture the Brittle brothers. Their mission is a success, and Django is freed from slavery, and he and Schmaltz both become bounty hunters, and they travel to Candyland to rescue Django's wife, Brumella, played by Kerry Washington, who's sadly still serving as a slave to the despicable owner of Candyland, Calvin Candy, played by Leonardo DiCaprio. Before I review Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is finally released in the UK this Wednesday, stay tuned for my review. I thought, why not review one of Quentin Tarantino's previous movies before that, as I do have slightly different thoughts on Django Unchained than the majority, and shout out to one of my subscribers and buddies on YouTube, Ryan O'Toole. This is his favourite Tarantino movie, and that's awesome. If this movie is your favourite from Tarantino, I can totally see why it is, because it is such a incredibly well made. As for me, on the other hand, this is sadly my least favourite Tarantino movie. Please don't have me. Oh, I'm sorry. While Tarantino is one of Hollywood's greatest directors, especially Pulp Fiction, that would be my favourite Tarantino movie. But not all of his movies are flawless for me personally, and Django Unchained is one of those examples. While I don't hate Django Unchained, to me it's just a meh and overrated movie. I just like it less than his other movies. But first, let's get to all of the good stuff, because this movie still has some awesome things to offer. Every single cast member in this movie is going for gold. The acting is across the board magnificent, and it helps that they were under direction from Tarantino. And Jamie Foxx as Django. This is by far his greatest role in his entire filmography. It sucks that he has stars in pieces of shit like Amazing Spider-Man 2 and the shitty Robin Hood movie last year, but this is his finest hour. Will Smith was initially going to be cast as Django, but thank God they picked Jamie Foxx instead. Django is one of Tarantino's most badass protagonists, and you truly want him to be reunited with Brunella. And Christoph Waltz as Schmaltz. Christoph Waltz. This is Christoph Waltz's second appearance in a Tarantino movie. His first was in Glorious Bastards, and he smashed it in that movie, and he also smashes it just as much here. I loved his change of character. You think it at first he's just another slave owner, but no, he frees Django, and love how he accompanies Django on the mission to get Brumella back. And Kerry Washington is so freaking amazing as Brumella, Django's wife. She's the character you feel sorry for most of all, because she is treated like shit by Calvin at Candyland. Her and Django share some tender love moments together, especially as they call one another their troublemaker. And Leonardo DiCaprio as one of the movie's antagonists, Calvin Candy. Oh boy, this is the first time I've ever seen Leonardo DiCaprio in a villain role, and I tip my hat off to Leo for being this convincing as an antagonist. Calvin Candy as a character, he's a dick. Oh, and there's one moment where he unintentionally cuts his hand, and it doesn't phase him. And Samuel L. Jackson also plays a villain role. He is the head slave in Candyland, and unlike the others, he is utmost loyal to Calvin. And the third act of this movie, when we finally see Django blow up Candyland with a stick of dynamite, and he and Brumella ride off. That concluded the movie with such a bang, and I am satisfied that this movie at least had a happy ending, even though this is by no means Tarantino's lightest movie. Now, guys, here we come to the negative part of this review, where I explain my controversial and complicated flaws with Django Unchained. For my the one thing I would change about this movie is the constant use of the N words. I know, sure, people who have defended this say, oh, but Harry, back in the 1850s, the N-word was common. Well, sure, but surely they didn't use it to that extent. I mean, I did a count, and they use the N words literally over 100 times in this movie. I'm like, is that excessive or what? I mean, this movie lives and breathes the N words, and the entire time it was an uncomfortable movie going experience sitting through this movie just to hear that disgusting racist N words, and modern day audiences may find this offensive. I mean, if you'd have just removed the N word, you would have at least had a more pleasant movie to sit through. And also, this movie is too damn long. There was no need for it to go for the 2 hour and 45 minute running time, nearly a 3 hour film, and oh boy, it felt like it was 6. Like, it's as if Tarantino hired the sloth from Zootopia to edit this movie. It's as slow as fuck movie to sit through, and all the stuff at Candyland, and you think that would be the parts where the movie is a non-stop action, but no, the Tarantino drags the Candyland stuff out to the points where you're like, Tarantino, you're wasting our time, just Tarantino, you're wasting our time. Just get to the action. Just get Brumella out of Candyland already. This movie only needed a 2 hour running time. It's at least 45 minutes over long. And did I mention this movie goes over the top with its gore? If you have a fear of blood in general, and if you're squeamish about that, you're not going to like this movie, because there is one shootout scene in Candyland, which is one of the bloodiest massacres in a movie I've ever seen, period. Especially one dude, he's being shot constantly and he's still alive. I had to look away, and even though the moment where Django is tortured was hard to watch. I mean, sure, you need some action in a western, but just minimize the blood. And last but not least, it was disappointing to me that this movie played rap songs during important and vital moments in the film. I'm like, couldn't the soundtrack have been a little more original and epic than that? So Tarantino had good intentions for making Django Unchained. You can tell how passionate he is about westerns, but But in my eyes, this is his weakest movie to date. That being said, I am staying positive and praying that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is his first good movie since Inglourious Bastards. I give the Django Unchained 2 stars out of 5 meh movie. But don't worry, this is as critical as the Tarantino reviews will get. So in my future Tarantino reviews, I will be more on the positive side. Well, I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. And what do you think of the Django Unchained? Please comment and let me know. Please like the video and subscribe. Please follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. And I'll see you next time when I review Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And remember, movies are us. Bye, guys.